Hello, people that watch videos on the internet about cars. Welcome to this, my 1982 Toyota Celica Supra, which I'm doing a mini build series on for one of you to get the chance to win. The link is in the video description below on where you can enter to win this car. In the last video on this car, I just got done doing a massive suspension overhaul. Oh, that's gonna leave a mark. Since I'm still waiting on a couple parts to finish up the front suspension as well as tackle all 4 brakes on the car, I figured I would start this massive process of getting this car up to standards, I guess you could say. When it comes to a car this old, you either go all out cleaning the interior or just don't bother at all. That's the only way to do it, in my opinion. It's kind of like if you just didn't clean underneath your couches, your beds in your house for 40 years old. Can you imagine what would be in there? Now each and every piece can be cleaned front to back before it goes back in the car. And then there are seats. The objects in cars which swallow our farts as well as our pocket change and lint, french fries, and some nasty motherfuckers wipe their boogers underneath them. That is so gross. If you do that, just flick it out the window, please. This is an ultra fine Scotch-Brite. It's not enough to scuff or scratch any of the materials, but it will give it a nice good scrub. Ow, my elbow! Oh, that hurt. It's gonna look so good. Alright. Now for a microfiber. I was torn on whether or not to replace the carpet in this car, but because of the fact you cannot find OEM genuine Toyota carpet for this thing anymore, I decided it probably wasn't the best idea. Whip out Old Faithful here. I've had this thing forever now. So this is what I just extracted out of that carpet. So this stuff right here is called jute. And this is the secret to making an old car smell new again. It's got on my nose. Example A. This is a piece that I took out of the car that goes under the rear seat. And as you can see, it's stained and dirty and full of old farts. Drop it down on the fart-free jute. This stuff's kind of thick. Just set it where it went. Tire. Oh man, this is so clean in here. Check that out. It's got the original toolkit too. Love that. Well, that's neat. This thing's got a little kickstand on the bottom. I like that. Get as much of this off as I can. It doesn't have to be perfect. This one's gonna be a little trickier because there's so much stuff I gotta account for. Okay. That is a hand workout. That should be good right about there. This stuff is not as easy to cut through as you think it would be. It is super durable. That's a very profound shape. Oh, it's longer than I thought it was. Adhesive. Ouch. Now this side wasn't as big as the other side. That. So I'm going to try to replicate that exactly how Toyota did. Okay, good. So if you remember from the last video, the suspension overhaul, I got a set of these Cusco front and rear strut tower braces from Japan. Well, now I can mount the rear since I have this all apart. Normally I wouldn't condone this type of upgrade since it's not truly a bolt-on, but it is a high quality Japanese part that is period correct. So This is a direct bolt-on on the GZ and MZ chassis cars, but for the MAGA, it requires drilling 4 holes. Put a little bit of silicone blob right here. It'll also keep it in place. Now for these guys. That's carpet. This part's can be a little tricky. I want to make sure I do this clean. This might make some of you squeamish, so I would look away. Don't worry though, I know what I'm doing. What's that? Hell yeah. Oh, that's perfect. Clean this one up. That's where that's gonna go. Moment of truth. Does it fit? That's perfect. Taking this car completely apart, I'm actually super impressed with the build quality and the materials utilized in construction of this car back in 1982. And honestly, some of this far surpasses the build quality of modern cars today. Can't tell me that's not clean right there. You can barely even see it. Just peeks out right between the 2 panels. Now this gets to go on. Oh, that's sick. Don't worry, I gotta put the caps on still, but oh man, love that. Welcome to the following day. This right here just finally came in the mail, and this was extremely difficult to find for this car. That right there is a period correct, fully functioning Alpine tape deck for the Supra. You know how hard it was for me to find this thing in working condition that's in good condition too on top of that? This was not easy, nor was it cheap. Out with the CD player and in with the tape player. They had the graphic equalizer just disconnected in the car. It wasn't hooked up to anything. So I need one of the little single-din screw sleeves that slides over it that has the little mounting tabs. I don't have one. I gotta go find one. So it's about 4 hours later. I just wasted a good part of the day trying to figure out how to get adapter plates from different car audio stores to make this work. It's not gonna work. To make this head unit fit underneath the factory graphic equalizer, as you can see, the faceplate is just slightly wider than the equalizer. And the factory bezel that would go around this, as you can see, it's pretty tight fit. It would not allow the knobs to fit on here. The knobs would rub. Additionally, these style head units, they're held into the dash via the faceplate with these little lock nuts, not via screws on the side like the factory unit. Without hacking the factory bezel apart or using some cheap, ugly piece of aftermarket plastic that looks like absolute trash to make it fit, there's no way to correctly mount this in the car. Well, there's not enough time to get another one, so sorry. A little bit of leather and vinyl conditioner. Oh, that stuff smells good. It smells like fresh couch. This smells so good. That is a whole lot of area for stinky stuff to collect. Glue, the real reason why we think new cars smell good, because you're just breathing in chemicals. Okay. Man, does that look good. Wow. Welcome to the following day. I have a solution. I have the perfect solution. There was only 2 of these in all of Tucson that I could find scouring the internet that was in stock in a store. So I bought one. So here's the deal. The original graphic equalizer from Toyota that is in this car, along with an external powered amp for all the speakers. I'm going to hook it up exactly the way they had it in the car before, which bypasses this. Only because the technology is so old in this that it might cause distortion to the sound of the music you're listening to, but I'm including all the wires to just plug and play so you can utilize this if you so choose. It's not gonna be hacked or cut up. It's really hard doing this because I don't know who's gonna end up with this car, and you might be old school and want to actually utilize this thing, or put an old school head unit in if you can find one that works. In my opinion, this is the best blend of new school and old school 80s digital you're gonna find for a head unit for one of these cars. Hell yeah, that fits perfect. I'm just as excited about this one as I was the old school Alpine. So for whoever wins this car, these plugs in the back of the graphic equalizer, you would just simply plug the car's harness directly into that, and then these wires coming out of it, this blue one is for an optional Toyota subwoofer, and then these 2 are for your speakers and your power. These right here plug into this harness pigtail, which goes into the head unit, and then this thing would be fully functioning again. Harness. Wrap this up with some Tessa tape. An engineer cobbler has arrived.
Yeah.
Charlie is setting up shop because he's going to finish up the front coilover fabrication. How much down travel do you have?
It was already compressed 2 inches.
Oh, really? I didn't realize how low the seats are in this car. Like, this is almost normal ride height, and I'm on the floor. Oh, it's upside down. That should be good right there.
So the way this works, if you don't want to do this kit yourself, is you take this piece off and you send it in, and they do all this work for you, and they send it back like all powder coated and bitchin'.
Because my shop is not that large, I didn't have the availability to have 2 vehicles down on the lifts taken apart, because I still have to film car views in here.
The way it sits right now, we're almost out of down travel or droop in the suspension with the spacer up at the top. So I'm going to cut this spacer in half and put it at the bottom, and then I'm going to cut 1 inch out of this tube up here and weld it back together so that the cap thread's on, and that'll give us 1 inch more down travel, and it'll give us 1 inch more up travel of clearance here at the top. So that'll be perfect. I think with the ride height we've chosen, that's the best option.
The reason why all this is taking place is because the factory strut insert that goes in those is a long stroke insert. This is about 2.5 inches longer than the KYB AGXs that are in there. And they don't make performance ones in that application. They don't really make performance suspension for this car at all anymore. This was the only solution. So this is a short stroke shock in a long stroke housing. That's why it has to be cut down.
If you're going to do this yourself and you cut 1 inch out, you have to be careful because the blade of the saw is going to take 1/16 of an inch of material. It's called the kerf. So this piece is like 7/8 of an inch thick, but there's 1 inch missing overall out of the tube. And then I got this piece of angle iron hose clamp to it to keep it completely straight and in line so I can start tacking it and welding it. And I beveled it just so we get a good weld. And you can't just cut 1 inch off the top of this because it's threaded internally for the cap that holds the strut in. Lovely. The fan.
What about it?
It fell over and a blade broke off.
Really?
Yep.
Whilst Charlie is machining those spacers down with his lathe, it's time to try out the new head unit. So this little guy right here is the faceplate. Notice the little digital 8-bit looking buttons? There's 4 little icon buttons on the front and a tiny little screen right here. Reconnect the battery, faceplate on. Yeah! Oh, this is so sick! I gotta change the color to match the gauges, obviously, but it's super old and digital looking. So obviously this isn't sponsored, I bought it, but what it is a smart head unit. It utilizes your phone just like a modern brand new car does with Apple CarPlay or Android Auto, and you control everything off an app on your phone. But if I eject the head unit's faceplate, I pull this out all the way up and fold that up, this right here is a holder for your smartphone. You can rotate it this way if you want to view it vertically or sideways, and you'll have your screen right here to look at your navigation and your maps. It's brilliant, but yet it still looks old school and period correct with the little digital graphics on the faceplate. Question is, will it fit my iPhone 14 Max Pro ginormous with a case on it? It does. So then your smartphone acts as the screen for the head unit, and it'll display your navigation, your music, whatever apps you want to use. So it comes preloaded with all these apps. You can do Spotify, XM Sirius, or Apple Music, podcast, Bluetooth audio, and you just tap whatever those and it opens up the corresponding app if you have it already on your phone. This is super smart, or you can just use regular radio if you want to listen to the radio. Now obviously, because this is a modern unit, it has a built-in EQ, so that's why I bypassed it, just so I wouldn't introduce more noise into the system. So if you want, you can hook that up yourself. I showed how to do it in the video. And then when you're done, you can just pop your phone out of it. You can take faceplate off, fold this guy up, push it back into the head unit, and voila! It's just a simple little black head unit, and it doesn't look too modern out of place. Status update, Charlie?
I'm putting these in the car.
Thanks for taking care of this while I finish the interior. Charlie's an absolute lifesaver right now because he had one day left before he starts his new job, and he figured he'd take care of this since I already made a video on the suspension and not a lot of people watched it, so that kind of sucks. This has to go on there. Get the bottom?
Got it.
Oh, haha. That is so tight. There you go.
We know.
Glad to be of assistance. A new little bearing plate for the top, so that way it doesn't contact the camber plate. And he incorporated a bump stop from the factory one, so this will actually have bump stops now, which is sweet. Dial in the camber. I like
now it's give or take in the center, so we'll leave it.
All right, sweet.
It actually looked pretty good when it was on the ground.
It's right there. Oh, yeah. Oh, there's plenty of it that sticks up through now. As far as the giveaway on this car goes, there is less than 2 weeks left as of the day you're watching this video, if it just came out, to enter to win this thing. So I still obviously have quite a bit of cleaning left to do to finish putting this interior back together. So the smartest thing to do is to end it right here. I'm gonna finish editing the remainder of it and get it up for you the same day as I'm filming this right now. And then the next video is gonna be the full paint correction and something special that all I can give you for a clue is it's gold. And that might be the last video in the series before the giveaway ends. Other than I'm gonna do a car review, and I'm still gonna do a couple more things under the hood, but it'll probably be after the giveaway is over. So thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you soon with the next video. Bye!